The government is looking for venues that can house what's called contingency care facilities during public health crises. Now, it comes as contracts for current COVID-19 facilities will expire soon, including the one at the Singapore Expo. Sherlyn Seah understands this move by the Health Ministry is the first since the pandemic.
When COVID-19 hit, places from hotels to convention centres were quickly repurposed to quarantine or treat patients and close contacts. It set a precedence for how the country would tackle future pandemics. CNA has seen documents that show the Health Ministry seeking information from any venue provider, which can be called upon when the time comes. MOH is looking for venues with rooms that can be booked in groups. Some may have entire premises converted for a minimum of 100 rooms. These must be on standby from this year for a period of between 2 and 3 years during a national crisis or public health situation. All interested venues must also provide meals.
One of the main issues with a major epidemic, and of course that includes the pandemic like COVID-19, is that there is a surge in cases, which will be more than the hospital capacity in any country, including Singapore, because the number of hospitals are fixed and they cannot just be easily increased within a few days or weeks.
MOH could not share who signed up so far, but there are some usual candidates.
Clearly, hotels would work the best. They are suited for that purpose because each room can house a certain number of people, right? Other facilities like sports complexes, those will need a certain amount of engineering or redesign to be able to suit the purpose. Technically, any facility can be converted. It's just the effort that's needed.
So it will be up to the Health Ministry to work with venues to get the right requirements, such as proper ventilation.
For housing patients, even mild patients in a pandemic, the key thing is that there shouldn't be a risk of transmitting the disease to others within the facility or even outside the facility. And that requires a certain kind of design in the airflow, air exchange, and the ease for which infection prevention can be done, as well as the monitoring of patients there.
The recent move by MOH is because existing contracts for isolation and quarantine facilities are expiring soon. One of these is the Singapore Expo, which was converted in 2020. During the height of the pandemic, these two halls were used as COVID-19 treatment facilities, housing hundreds of beds to care for COVID-19 patients. The Health Ministry then continued to tap on these as transitional care facilities to care for a wider range of patients. And as Singapore continues to bounce back and rebuild stronger from the pandemic, these two halls will be returned to Singapore Expo management to host more events starting from next year. Still, the Expo says it's ready to lend a hand if another crisis hits.
Our involvement in the national pandemic efforts has helped us gain insights into how we continue to make sure that our infrastructure is adaptable, so that in case in future of such needs, we will be ready and will stay agile. That entails a collective efforts between the authorities, the infrastructure team, the operation manpower.
Beyond accommodation, Singapore is also preparing vaccination and disease testing sites for future public health crises.
And here's a look back at all the isolation and quarantine facilities Singapore had to roll out to battle COVID-19. Hotels were the first places to be used in 2020. More than 33,000 rooms isolated close contacts and incoming travellers who were on stay-home notices. By 2021, more than half of the country's hotels, or over 90, were involved. Chalets chipped in as well. Some included those run by Home Team NS, the Civil Service Clubs and the SAF Changi Chalets. These were mostly designated as quarantine facilities. And as the virus spread rapidly in 2020, hospitals struggled with the influx of patients. Large venues like the F1 Pit building and the former Ang Mo Kio Institute of Technical Education were also converted into community care or treatment facilities. And the largest of all, the Singapore Expo. At its peak, the convention centre accommodated close to 8,000 beds. Now, the Singapore Expo will no longer need to house government COVID-19 facilities from mid-next year. It means country's largest convention is already preparing to host more MICE events and mapping next steps to be Asia's leading venue. Sherlyn Seah finds out what the management intends to do with a full suite of 10 halls.
It's the size of nearly 17 football fields, meant for meetings, conferences and exhibitions. Before COVID-19, the Singapore Expo hosted some 600 events and 6 million visitors each year.
We have already seen utilization rate that's recovering back to very much the pre-pandemic levels, and it's only a matter of time we believe we will do a full recovery.
It hosted 220 events in 2022 and 330 in 2023. To stay ahead in the region, it's tapping inbuilt amenities so organisers can set up quickly and save money. One example is in this main hall.
I understand we're now in Hall 1. Maybe you can tell us a bit about the features of this space and what is it commonly used for?
Okay, so what you're seeing here is a plug-and-play solution, a carpeted hall where we have a giant screens as well as some of the AV setup that are ready for your rigging of your screens, your speakers, as well as a capacity that you can sit up to 6,000 pax. This is usually very suitable for your opening ceremonies, your large conferences, where organisers can just move in and plug and play.
The Expo also wants to attract bigger events.
We have no pillars in our halls, and what we can do is also to open up the halls to be interconnected, where we create a very large space up to 60,000 square meters. So that's very suitable for large exhibition shows or even very big conferences that can cater up to 20,000-30,000 pax.
It has already hosted this year's Food and Hotel Asia convention using all available 8 halls. With another 2 halls to be returned next year, the entire venue will be booked by the International Textile Machinery Association exhibition. Music lovers can also keep their eyes peeled. Hall 7 has been refurbished as a dedicated concert venue for more than 6,000 people. The space used to house Connect at Changi for overseas business people to meet during the pandemic.
What we have seen is a lot of strong demand for mid-sized concert arenas. Okay, so I think from the start of the year, we have already welcomed many events. I think these are your emerging artists who are really trying to build your regional fan base here. So we'll be looking at your Korean boy bands, we're looking at some of the other artists who are coming through in later part of the year. So we'll be welcoming Lovi in September, as well as more big acts that's to be announced very soon.
Its next plans are to convert 3 other halls to be more entertainment-focused, all in the Expo's push to be a playground of possibilities, refreshing its identity as it turns 25 this year.